Louisiana is awaiting the U.S. Supreme Court's decision on its controversial abortion law. That decision could potentially leave the state with just one abortion clinic. Democratic State Representative Katrina Jackson of Louisiana's 16th District is the author of the Admitting Privileges bill. She told CBS News reporter Kate Smith that the law wasn't about shutting down abortion access, but making the procedure safer for women.
CBS News reporter Kate Smith joins us now from Shreveport, Louisiana, with more on her conversation with Jackson. So, Kate, if the Supreme Court upholds this law, Louisiana could go down to just one provider for abortions. Does Congresswoman Jackson have any regrets, or is she happy about how this is playing out?
Good morning, Anne-Marie and Vlad. So when we spoke to Representative Jackson yesterday, she saw the two things as very different: shutting down abortion access and creating a safer atmosphere in which women can get abortions in this state. So I'd like to play a little bit more about how she feels this law interacts with women's health care.
When a physician performs a surgery outside or a procedure outside of a hospital, a physician with admitting privileges has the ability to call ahead of time if there's a complication and say, I'm sending patient A, this is what happened, I believe this is what needed, she's on her way in an ambulance to you, and she's going to need emergency care, and she's going to need to be admitted. That's when you have admitting privileges. When you don't, you have no connection with a hospital within the 30-mile radius. You have absolutely no connection with the hospital that your patient is being transported by emergency services to, so the doctors at the ER have to figure it out. And they have to take it from the EMT instead of the physician that performed the procedure. And so I just thought it was a common sense piece of legislation. Everyone would understand it. And regardless of what type of care you were providing to your patient, you would want a continuity of care.
So as you can see, the representative really is billing this law as something that is simply about women's health care, not about shutting down abortion access. But here's the problem with that. You have several medical associations, American Medical Association, College of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Both of those organizations have already said that admitting privileges for abortion providers are not medically necessary. And then, of course, the Supreme Court ruled just 3 years ago that these admitting privileges are not medically necessary. So even though she's telling us that this law is about women's health care, unfortunately, you do have Supreme Court precedent as well as professional organizations saying that it's not.
All right, so many who oppose this law, Kate, say it harms women, preventing them from getting proper medical care. So what's the Congresswoman's response to that?
So she's saying that if you can't receive safe health care in Louisiana as regards to abortion, that it's not worth having. So she views the idea of the state going down to just one clinic as just, something that is a necessary evil. If you can't get a safe abortion in Louisiana, we shouldn't be compromising on that. But of course, the other side of that is that, I'm standing right here in front of the Hope Clinic. They're the only clinic in northern Louisiana, and they do about 4,000, 3,000 abortions a year. They've only had 4 hospitalizations in the past 20 years. So even though we're hearing from the representative this is about women's safety, on the ground, people are telling us that it's not.
So what's her position on the constitutional issues surrounding this bill?
Well, that's a great question. Of course, we have Roe v. Wade as our law right now that makes abortion legal in every state. But she doesn't view the two as separate. So here's what she had to say about that.
Roe v. Wade is still the law. And so right now, because abortion is legal, not only in the state of Louisiana, but all around the country, I believe that whatever standards a state has for other procedures, it should also hold true for abortion. And so in this law, I sought to make it safer for women who elect to have abortions. And so that's real simple. I mean, I can't pass, number one, I'm an attorney, I don't believe in passing unconstitutional laws. Okay? None of us are perfect. Sometimes our legislation may have an undesired effect. I don't think this legislation has an undesirable effect.
So as you can see, the representative really doesn't view this as having anything to do with shutting down abortion care. However, it's really important to note that Representative Jackson does consider herself anti-abortion rights. She considers herself a Christian, and being anti-abortion rights advocate is a huge part of her identity. So, she's introducing a bill later this year that's going to completely outlaw abortion via a constitutional amendment in her own state, of course. So even though, her beliefs are anti-abortion, she doesn't think that this has to do with Roe v. Wade.
So Planned Parenthood's political arm plans to spend at least $45 million on electing candidates who back reproductive rights nationwide. Is she at all concerned that this could hurt her politically?
So that's a great question, Vlad. But the reality is that Louisiana is extremely anti-abortion, and especially at the state capitol level. The representative was telling us that her district is overwhelmingly anti-abortion rights, and it's something, that helps her politically. And, and she also said that she wouldn't be interested in representing a district that wasn't.
All right, Kate, thank you very much. We've been talking to you all week, and I know we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks a lot.